Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Carole on Tuesday, episode 19. So, um, I recorded that video, the update video earlier, and even after posting it, it's like I started doing other things, and then I eventually almost forgot to record. It's currently just after 4 p.m., like quarter after. Um, I almost forgot because of all the hype surrounding the Netflix official release of Carole on Tuesday and the English dub and everything, and especially of Brianna Knickerbocker coming to Youmacon this year, which, as you guys know, because I've talked about plenty, is my local convention, the one I staff at every year. And Brianna Knickerbocker, if you don't know, is the English dub voice for Tuesday. Um, with all of that going on, all of the hype, all of the excitement, and on top of that, the Dark Pictures Man of Medan game came out, which is from the same people, Supermassive Games, that made Until Dawn. So yeah, I just got really distracted. um, I also decided to check out a game I've checked out before, but really check out this time, really give a chance to. Um, yeah, I've just been really distracted. And I still have to go out there and mow the front yard, which I'll probably do after recording this and before I record Aggretsuko and tomorrow's Shira. And sorry for the lighting, by the way. There's really not much I can do about that. I could try to sit over here, but it's still like the window's like uh, right over there. I have to point the right way because yeah, the window's like right over there, and it's like it's closed, but it's still yeah. But anyways, so last time Tuesday had fallen in love with the reporter dude whose name is escaping my mind right now. She had gotten a little bit of a crush on him and was kind of heartbroken when she found out that he has either a girlfriend or a wife. It's not quite clear, but either way, um, and and at the end we see that Carole embraces her. And I mentioned last time how I really didn't mind that Tuesday had a crush on him because, as I said back then, I mean, she could be bi or pan, and it'd still work for her possibly forming into a relationship with Carole. And I still think that's going to happen because all the signs are there, all the clues are there. It's severely hinting, like heavily, that they're going to be together. Um, and as I've said in the past, though, if they don't, as long as the show ends really well and it is still a very good show in just all respects, then whatever. But it's really heavily hinting that they're going to. And I will be a little disappointed if it doesn't happen, admittedly. But either way. So yeah, there was all that last time. Plus, on top of that, Angela is still having to deal with her stalker and all. And now Erdogan is working with her on a song, I guess, because he kind of went to Mr. Tao. And so, yeah, all kinds of interesting stuff is going down. There's also an explosion at the weather factory place, um, which it's presumed to have something to do with the election stuff because it really added fuel to Valerie's campaign. And we already know that her campaign manager is sleazy as fuck. So I would not put it past him to have set that up. But we also kind of get this feeling still that Valerie is not fully on board with this, with these beliefs, that she's only doing it to, um, well, to win. And I really start to think that again after having rewatched the first episode, because I rewatched the first episode with the dub on Netflix, and I'm gonna rewatch the rest, of course. But I rewatched the first episode, and when Valerie first is shown, she's still the Valerie we know at this point and everything, still stern and not really the best parent. But when Spencer reads Tuesday's note and then hypothesizes that since her guitar's gone, she may have gone to pursue music and stuff, Valerie does have a surprised expression on her face. Not angry. Not angry in any way. Just legitimately surprised. And Tuesday has said that she talked about wanting to do this and no one supported her. So I'm sure Valerie knew about her desire to become a musician. So it's interesting. I don't think Valerie's a bad person. I really don't. I think that she's just so obsessed with winning this that she's willing to forgo her own morals and ethics and beliefs to win, just to win. And of course, again, I do believe her campaign manager is being a sleazy asshole and kind of coercing her into this. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but who knows? Either way, I know nothing about what's to happen in this episode. I did actually, funny enough, going back to last episode though, I did look up I was looking up some stuff on various social media sites and stuff just to like find fan art and stuff, see if more of that's coming in. And a couple more things did, but it's really few and far between. Hopefully that picks up now that it's on Netflix and people will be able to see it. More people will be able to see it. But yeah, I started looking things up with all of that, and I started seeing people's thoughts on the last episode. And a lot of people apparently are really upset with the idea that Tuesday fell in love with a guy and had a crush on him rather than Carole. It's like, there's still enough episodes to go. Don't count out their ship yet. Just because she happened to have a crush on a guy, that doesn't mean anything. That's why I wasn't upset last time by it. Because there's absolutely nothing to discount the idea of Carole and Tuesday ending up together. This doesn't disprove that. That doesn't stop it from happening. But yeah, I know nothing about what's to come with this episode, and as always, I prefer it that way. Gee, stupid little bug. I hate those tiny ass bugs that you can't even really tell what they are, but they're just so fucking annoying and always hanging around, you know? I hate that. But yeah, either way, I'm really excited because I've been talking about it a lot, but obviously I do believe that this show could surpass My Hero as my #1 favorite. And right now, honestly, it's at my #2 spot. Now that could change. It could change with this episode and future episodes. It could very easily change, and I don't know where it's going to go, and I don't know how it's going to end up. But as of now, that's where it is. Because, honestly, I really can't see much of any issues with it, and the very few issues I might be able to find are nitpicks and don't really hold it back enough. And honestly, I mean, even outside of just, like, the quality of the show, I just enjoy the fuck out of it. I just really adore it. I mean, it's made me cry multiple times. I mean, even when just thinking about scenes or rewatching scenes, like, off camera, I've very heavily cried. Especially during the performance of The Loneliest Girl during Mars Brightest. Like, I cry almost every time I see that. No matter how many times I've seen it now. And I've seen it a shit ton of times now. Also, going back to the dub and everything, since that just aired, there are some noteworthy voices on there. No one, like, massive in the English dub voicing world. Like, no Monica Rial, no J. Michael Tatum, no Steve Bloom, or anyone like that, Todd Haberkorn, etc., etc. But, I mean, Keith Silverstein's in it. He's fairly big. And then Erica Mendez actually directed the English dub. Um, she's actually the voice director or whatever. Um, so there is that as well. And there's a few other voices here that have been in quite a bit. So the English dub has really gotten some good voices. And honestly, just in general, I think all the voices so far, at least, really fit. Um, yeah, it's really good so far. Um, yeah, I can't really think of anyone that would be bad or even just unsatisfactory. They're all just really good choices. There's specifically Angela's mother, Dahlia. I was trying to figure out her voice because the voice actor sounded so familiar, but I looked up his work and I don't really know anything he's been in. Well, I mean, I know it, but I've never seen it, and I don't know the characters. He's in a lot of those How to Train Your Dragon shows, the shows that aren't good, um, especially compared to the movies. He seems to be in a lot of those, but I don't know. He just sounds super familiar, which that's happened to me before, where a voice actor sounds really familiar, and then it's actually someone I don't even know. Um, but yeah, it's a really good voice anyways. It really works for her. Um, the one I'm the most critical of right now is Gus, but we haven't heard enough of him well, I haven't because I've only seen the first episode in the dub. And there's a contrast there because there's points where he's narrating and everything, and he sounds great when he's narrating, but then when you actually see him on screen or like during the trailer for the English dub where he's yelling like "I finally found you," I don't know. I'm not so sure. Again, I'll have to see more of it, but he's the one I'm the most worried about. But I don't dislike his voice so far. It's not bad. It's just I don't know. I have to see more. Um, I can't wait to see some of the voices for like Mars Brightest, like Piotr. Oh, I'm so interested. I also like, by the way, that for the dub they are keeping all of the same singers. Like the music isn't changing at all. They're using the same music. So it's like they don't have to re-record that with new singers or voice actors or whatnot, which is really good because, yeah, just don't even try to mimic that. Leave the music as it is. Just dub over the speaking lines. Yeah, I'm curious to see, well, and hear where some of these parts of the dubs go. Um, it's only the first half for now, the first half of the series. I don't know when the second half will be put up. Probably not until after the series finishes, though, I would say. I would not. I would hazard a guess maybe November or December, but I wouldn't put my hopes out that it will be out before January. Maybe November or December, but January is the safe bet, I feel, for the second half to come onto Netflix. Though I don't know for sure. Either way, I've talked long enough about this, so we're just going to get into the reaction. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then it fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. Okay, and we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, there's really two parts to this episode. The A plot and the B plot, I'll call them. Um, and I'm going to talk about the B plot first, and that is Angela and her stalker. So, we see Angela is practicing for the festival when she's talking to Tao and everything because he notices that she sounds off. And so she and Dahlia tell him about the stalker, which they hadn't before. he hacks into her robot pet, her little bunny pet, and finds for them that, yeah, the stalker, has been using this really, really high quality hacking ability to hack into the robot pet and, I mean, obviously other cameras and stuff in a way to where it wouldn't be able to be detected by the police and all. So Tao, when he says like, basically something around the lines of "let's play" or "let's see what he's got" or it's something like that. It's basically him in a way challenging the stalker. It's like, let's see who's really the tech genius here. And so Tao helps them by planning for this performance and planning on to catch the stalker. They're anticipating that the stalker will know that Angela is the secret guest for Erdogan's performance at the festival. And because of that, they're going to try to catch him there. And at first, it seems like things are going wrong because the stalker actually sends in a... oh, crap. My mind is blanking on the word, and I mentioned it earlier. Oh my gosh. Wow. A fake. Let's just say a fake. Uh, the stalker sends in a fake in order to trip them up and get them off of his tail long enough, which means that he knew they were after him. He knew they were after him. So while they're focusing on the fake, he's backstage posing as a member of the security team. He has his gun with him, and he's about to shoot Angela, basically because he still believes that she betrayed his love. Um, and Tao ends up realizing the fake is just a fake. Uh, I really wish I could think of the word at the moment. I can't believe I mentioned it during the reaction. And of course, Tao used the same word. But I just can't think of it. But yeah, Tao confronts him, and it basically comes to a standoff. Tao is threatening to use some audio waves to knock him out, while he says he's going to kill Tao first and everything. And Tao wins. Tao wins the standoff and knocks the dude out with the audio waves. So I assume Tao probably has some sense of like earplugs or something in to where he can resist it. But yeah, the other guy, he just drops. And it's like, I assume that they're going to like arrest him and everything. So I assume the stalker plotline is done. This was a really fascinating plotline to have with Angela, and it makes sense. And it makes sense it's happening specifically to Angela, not Carole Tuesday. Because the thing is, Angela was a big star ever since childhood. Like, I think it was like supposed to be 4 years old or something like that when she started acting. She was this big name young actress who had been acting her entire life and was massively popular and famous. She decided to go into singing and became a hit really quickly. And because of it, yeah, it makes perfect sense. She would have a stalker. Carole and Tuesday are still new to it. They're gaining popularity, but they're not yet at that point where the obsessive fans would attach themselves to them, you know? It was a really interesting storyline. It was great to see Angela get development through this and start to show a more vulnerable side. And I definitely think it's going to help her in the long run as a character. It was good to see Dahlia showing that mama bear protective side towards her daughter. That's always fantastic to see. And it was especially good for Tao as a character, because Tao is kind of this overly analytical, kind of emotionless robot of a guy. And that's all well and good, but we actually see him, through working with Angela, start to come out of his shell in a way, start to gain emotion and really showcase just development. I mean, that thumbs up and smile he gave to Angela after subduing the stalker, that's something he would never have done before. He would have maybe given a knowing look and a nod. Not even smile, just a look and a nod. But no, now he's definitely showing that development. And I mean, hell, the fact that when he found out that the guy they had first subdued was a fake, he ran, he bolted because he knew Angela was in trouble. I do think he cares. I could see some people shipping them, Angela and Tao. I don't. I don't think there's enough there for that yet. Um, but I think that they might be starting to lay some seeds for that. And if they do end up going that route, and if they make Tao able to express that kind of emotion with her, I think that would be phenomenal. That would be just such amazing character development and growth, and just really handled excellently. Um, yeah, I am just really impressed by this. The music, obviously, we had two pieces of music in this episode. First was Angela and Erdogan's song, and as I said during the performance itself, it really expertly blended together Erdogan's EDM DJ skills and that general like electronic style with Angela's more pop vocals. It really, pop and EDM tend to go really well together as it is. Like a lot of times when you hear an EDM song that does have vocals, it will be more poppy rather than rock or jazz or metal, obviously. Sometimes you'll hear some rap or hip hop with EDM, but a lot of the times it'll end up being more poppy, something lighter, and just something a lot more people can get into. It blends well with the EDM because of the just general sound of both. Like trying to mix metal with EDM, it would not work. It just, it would not work. Um, but yeah, it was a good song. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites of the series though, and definitely not my favorite of Angela's, but it is good. Um, it's just not my favorite personally, just from my personal music taste. But then we have Carole and Tuesday's new song. Obviously, they are the main characters. They're going to get a really special new song, and that's what we get with Message in the Wind. Like all of Carole and Tuesday's songs, Message in the Wind is emotional. It is really powerful and has a lot of depth to it. It's softer than what you'd hear from Angela, but at the same time, still packs quite a punch through its lyrical content and, of course, the phenomenal singing voices of our characters by the singing voice actors Selena Ann and Vonai Bricks. Um, yeah, it's excellent. It's beautiful. Like the song, the sound of it is just absolutely gorgeous. And as I said during the reaction, it sounds like something I've heard. My initial thought was Shania Twain, but it's like, no, no, it's too soft for Shania Twain. Um, but then I also kind of thought of another country singer who I grew up listening to. And I think it's definitely more on par with at least the couple of songs I have heard from her, because admittedly I haven't heard a lot. But if you've ever heard of the country artist Trisha Yearwood, you might be able to hear kind of a similar sound. Um, Trisha Yearwood, the two songs I know from her mainly are Little Hercules and Under the Rainbow. Both are fantastic songs that I still listen to this day. I grew up listening to them every time I would ride in the car with my aunt. My aunt is a big country music fan, and she would always play Trisha Yearwood whenever me and my sister were in the car, because I was a big fan of the song Little Hercules and my sister of Under the Rainbow. And granted, I love both of them, but still. Uh, And yeah, like I said, even nowadays, I still look very fondly upon that song. I still think it's a beautiful song with an amazing message. And it's not quite the same. Obviously, I'm not saying that like "Message in the Wind" sounds like Little Hercules or Under the Rainbow. I'm just saying that the general sound, the general style is similar to that of Trisha Yearwood. At least, again, at least from the songs I know from her. At least that's how I viewed it. There's probably someone else as well that it's similar to, but that was the main thing that came to my mind. Um, yeah, it's just this was a really, really good episode, and I like how it ended before Carole and Tuesday's performance was actually over. I like how it ended before it was over because we already saw the audience's reaction. They were already on board with it. And just the fact that Carole and Tuesday decided to do that stripped down performance in the first place is so meaningful and important. And I think everybody there understood that instantly. Not only just the people listening in the crowd, but Angela, Dahlia, Gus, Roddy, the one rapper guy who Carole might know. um, they all understood that. Tao, they know why. Even Erdogan, even fucking Erdogan. And I'll come back to that in a moment. But they all understood why Carole and Tuesday decided to do that performance, and just the way they introduced it. We play music sitting on our couch at home, and we want to. Basically, what they said is we want to bring you into our room to see us performing on our couch. And it's such a beautiful sentiment. Like there are a lot of artists out there who will do performances of some of their biggest name songs in a stripped down fashion like that, in a way that is without all the bells and whistles, without all of the um, special stuff. And that's great. And I always think that's something really special when an artist decides to do that, decides to just let their voice and maybe an instrument or two do the talking. They don't have to have all of this special stuff added on. And you know what else that reminds me of, actually? Yes, My Little Pony. Um, because there's an episode of My Little Pony that is a major plot point in. There's the singer Countess Coloratura, also known as Rara, who is kind of like this massive name. She's all about these bells and whistles, all about this, all about the pyro and the auto-tune, magic-induced auto-tune, which is hilarious. But then at the end, she has this stripped-down performance, just her and a piano. Well, and some backing instrumentals that come in later. But it's a celebration of her voice and her true talent, not needing all of that fluff added on. But let's get back to Erdogan. Erdogan has shown a really great amount of development in this series. He's gone from someone who is this arrogant asshole who wouldn't even look at Carole and Tuesday's music, resulting in Tuesday being badass as hell and burning all the sheet music right there in his room, which was just a fantastic moment. But he wouldn't even look at their music, not even just give them a chance. They have this rocky, not really rivalry, kind of animosity towards each other after that point. But then he ends up becoming one of the guest judges for Mars Brightest. And at first he is really still holding things against them. But when he hears their performance of The Loneliest Girl, it gets him emotional and really helps him understand their talent. He gets it. So then when he loses everything, he goes to them and all, and eventually he does end up leaving them and going to Tao and Angela and all, but still. He works with them and he uses Carole's keyboard. At this point, he trusts them. He trusts them in their music. And then now at the festival, They're performing, and he's watching them with a big old smile on his face. He acknowledges their talent, but more than that, he likes their talent. He enjoys their music. He is a fan of Carole and Tuesday. And if that's not development, I don't know what is. Erdogan is just a fantastic character who has gone through a lot of development and growth in this series, and I don't think it's done. I do not think that it's done. I definitely think that he's got more to show us. And I think that he will show us a lot more as the series progresses. I don't know exactly what we're going to see, but I'm really excited to find out what it ends up being. Now, I said I was going to look up the song in between, and I forgot. So I'm getting up the lyrics right here, because as we know, the songs that inspire the titles for these episodes, a lot of times will tend to have a connection lyrically to the themes of the episode. So here's the lyrics for People Get Ready by The Impressions. People get ready, there's a train a-comin'. You don't need no baggage, just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesels hummin'. Don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. So people get ready for the train to Jordan, picking up passengers coast to coast. Faith is the key, open the doors and boredom, there's hope for all among those loved the most. There ain't no room for the hopeless sinner whom would hurt all mankind just to save his own. Believe me now, have pity on those whose chances grow thinner, for there is no hiding place against the kingdom's throne. So people get ready, there's a train coming, you don't need no baggage, yada yada. So basically, yes, the song has a very religious overtone to it. Obviously talking about faith, hopeless sinner, kingdom's throne. It's a very religiously themed song. Yes. But when you look at it from a different angle, it talks about being stripped down of all the bells and whistles. You don't need the baggage. Don't need no ticket. Just get on board. All you need is faith. It's talking about just going in, believing in yourself, and letting that steer you in the right direction. And if that is so insanely in tune with Carole and Tuesday in this episode, they were worried when they found out Angela was there, and especially when Angela kind of laid down that challenge, like, I'm gonna steal the show, and especially when she finds out that they're right after her and all. So they're worried, and after they see Angela and Erdogan's performance, they decide to just let their belief, let their faith guide the way. Take away all the bells and whistles. Take away all the flash and fluff. And just let it go. Let their voices, let their just raw talent do the talking. To not rely on anything more than that. And you saw the crowd's reaction to that. They were enjoying this. Yeah, it wasn't as flashy, wasn't as exciting as Angela and Erdogan's performance. But it didn't need to be. It was everything it needed to be, in its simplicity. And so yeah, this song definitely fits lyrically. Maybe not as much from a direct standpoint, like just looking at the lyrics and directly like noting what they say. But when you think about it, like when you really think about the depth behind those lyrics and what else they could mean, it really does fit. And I think that's good. It's not maybe the most fitting lyrics compared to some other episodes we've had in their titles, their song inspirations, but it still fits, it still works, and I think that's great. I think that's great. The one thing I will say is that this episode made no mention, outside of like the preview at the beginning, which I skip every time just because it's like we know what happened last time. We don't need to see like, oh, the 7-minute miracle speech again every time. It didn't make any mention of Tuesday's crush on the guy. Unless I missed something, it didn't mention it. Her crush on the one guy, Kyle, I think his name is actually. Yeah, I think that's his name. Um, and the fact that Carole had to calm her down in the end and just be there for her. I mean, it made mention of the weather factory being messed up and Alba City experiencing winter for the first time and snow. But yeah, it didn't mention at all the other part. And I kind of think that's a good thing. It's like Carole or Tuesday is just trying to move past it at this point, just trying to focus on what's important to her in the moment. She doesn't want to think back on that bad memory, and Carole doesn't want to bring it up. So why have it be a big plot point right now? Maybe they'll bring it up again, but I don't think it's important. I think it was something that happened. Things happen, and not everything needs to be a big plot point going forward. Not everything needs to be constantly alluded to and talked about. So I kind of appreciate that. I was just a little surprised. I'm really excited to see where this goes next, as always. And it's just becoming more and more apparent that, yeah, this show is probably going to end up taking my #1 spot for my favorite anime and possibly for my favorite shows of all time. But it's still got a ways to go. And while it could definitely take the spot before the series ends, before it's over, I don't know. I'm feeling a little weary about that because even with My Hero Academia taking the spot from Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, it was 3 seasons in at that point. So it's like I'd already seen 2 full seasons and a portion of the 3rd season when I came to that realization that it was my favorite anime of all time. And with Legend of Korra, with just shows in general, favorite shows of all time, I didn't come to that determination until the end, until the final episode. That was really the tipping point for me with that. So I don't know. I'm going to wait until I'm absolutely sure to say anything about that. But as of now, I still think it's hovering around the 2nd place, for sure. For anime specifically. We'll just have to see. We'll just have to see where it goes and hope for the best. In the meantime, tell me in the comments below what you thought of this episode of Carole and Tuesday, and tell me what you think of the dub that is now on Netflix. If you haven't checked it out, please do. It's really good. You definitely should check it out. Tell me what you think of their English voices. And you bet your fucking ass when Youmacon comes around this year, Halloween weekend, I am getting a picture with Brianna Knickerbocker. That if I can only meet one guest at Youmacon, I don't care who the fuck else they bring. I'm getting a picture with Brianna Knickerbocker. Because that is one of my biggest priorities right now with Youmacon. I could go to no panels. I could meet no other guests. I could completely skip out on the vendor hall. I could not even take any pictures or videos for a cosplay music video. I don't care about that at the moment. Like, that is not priority for me for Youmacon this time. I am completely serious here. That is how much I want to meet her. And I mean, her voice for Tuesday is fantastic, by the way. It's so fitting for the character. But it's not. It's just because she is the voice of Tuesday. Tuesday is my favorite character in this show by very far. I love all the characters, almost all the characters, minus the characters you're supposed to hate, like the Stalker and shit, and Sabelle. But yeah, it's like I adore Tuesday so much, and I connect with her emotionally and personally. So yeah, just hearing the English voice, hearing how perfect it is, how just well done it is, just getting to meet anyone involved with Carole and Tuesday, okay, is important to me at this point. And I mean, granted, I've already met Keith Silverstein, who, by the way, I believe is the bartender, the one at the bar that Gus likes. He's the bartender with the glasses and the kind of afro going on. Um, yeah, I believe he's the bartender. And if you don't know, Keith Silverstein's also voiced Johann Liebert in Naoki Urasawa's Monster, as well as Torbjorn in Overwatch. That's actually probably a bigger name than Johann, unfortunately. And nothing against Overwatch. I just really love Naoki Urasawa's Monster. um, but yeah, it's just super high priority for me to meet her. Just super high priority. Um, you bet your ass that will be a treasured memory, a very treasured picture. But yeah, tell me your thoughts down below. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and thank you so much for tuning in to today's video. If you want to check out any of my social media links and more, please check them out over to the side. And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, please leave those down below. In the meantime, though, thank you so much once again for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.